Let's see what's in the newspaper today. That's boring. Let's see what else is in there. Why is everything in the newspaper so boring nowadays? I doubt there's anything good on the back. Zootopia Impresses by True Reviews. Zootopia review. I can deal with that. Zootopia is directed by Brian Howard, Rich Moore, and Jared Bush, and stars Jennifer Goodwin as Judy Hopps, Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde, and Idris Elba as Chief Boat. The plot of Zootopia revolves around a bunny named Judy Hopps, who is the first ever rabbit police officer. She travels to Zootopia, a city run entirely by mammals, to begin doing her duties. However, she is assigned to be a meter maid, which disappoints her, of course. However, she meets a sly con artist fox named Nick Wilde. Together, they team up to discover the truth behind the disappearance of 14 missing animals. Before I begin my review of Zootopia, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the film. Zootopia grossed over $340 million in the US alone. Dang, that's a lot of money. But that's not it. Worldwide, it grossed over $1 billion. $1 billion! And not only that, on Rotten Tomatoes, it scored a whopping 98 out of 100. Now maybe some of you may think, wow, that's really good. Well, do you know how good that is? By scoring a 98, it has a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than some of the greatest films ever made. Here is a list of terrific films that Zootopia is better with. Cue the list. The reason I bring all of this up is because, of course, Zootopia has a lot of positive vibes going towards it. So, does it really live up to the vibes? That's what we're going to talk about today. And so that's why I'm starting with the cons. My first con of Zootopia would be the storyline. Now, I did like the story and plot of Zootopia, but I feel like its emotional roller coaster was very watered down, predictable, and cliche. Like the friends are mad at each other, but they get back together. That's very overused, and everything's happy and then something goes wrong and they have to get it back to normal again. That's very overused. Its emotional roller coaster was nothing that new. The next flaw I have for Zootopia is the score. Now, if you don't know who scored this movie, his name is Michael Giacchino. Well, who's Michael Giacchino? Well, I'm a big Michael Giacchino fan myself. I think that once John Williams is gone, I think Michael Giacchino is the next John Williams. Some of his scores include Jurassic World, the 2009 Star Trek Into Darkness. He scored Pixar's Ratatouille, and he won an Academy Award for his 2009 score in Disney Pixar's Up. So, I of course expected a very well done score from Giacchino. However, I was very disappointed. His score was lacking, and it was a mediocre score, nothing too special. Another flaw that I have with Zootopia is its humor. Now, Zootopia attempted at many jokes, and however, most of them didn't work. The funniest scene in the movie was the sloth DMV scene depicted in the trailer. It worked well in the movie, and it was very entertaining. However, none of the humor really worked in the rest of the movie. Now that I've gotten all the cons for Zootopia out of the way, it's time to get into some pros. For starters, I believe that the plot of Zootopia was very well done. It was a very thrilling and engaging plot, and I liked the way that it weaved together almost like a mystery. I found it very, very satisfying when everything came together. This movie was also very reminiscent of other movies. Probably the second funniest part of this movie is a character named Mr. Biggs. Mr. Biggs is a tiny rodent who is very reminiscent of Don Vito Corleone from the Godfather trilogy, which apparently Zootopia is better than. my point is, I believe that he was a very entertaining and funny character and made my adults in the audience laugh. Now, there's another scene in this movie in which Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are trapped on a runaway train. This scene reminded me much of the Mission Impossible train sequence in the third act. There are some other parts where it's very reminiscent of Jurassic Park, and in a way it's very reminiscent of the Hunger Games. So it has tropes and is very reminiscent of others. My biggest pro for Zootopia is its message. Now, I would like to warn all viewers now, if you had not seen Zootopia, this is a massive spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it, then just go watch it and come back and see it. I don't want to spoil the movie for you. Moving along. At the heart of this movie, Zootopia has a very good message of discrimination between race, ethnicity, and sex. Where it comes in this movie, basically, when the 14 missing mammals are discovered, it turns out that they have been turned insane and went back to their predator days, much like we have savage predators now. This causes many residents of Zootopia, because Zootopia is mostly herbivores, it causes many of them to be very worried that a predator at any time or a carnivore at any time could go insane. This causes to discrimination between many of the predators, which is not good at all. I think that it was a very good message and a very dark and hard message to put in a Disney film, and I think Disney did it perfectly. The one other thing I'd like to mention about Zootopia is its animation. I believe it is a crisp and clearly animated movie. While it's nothing super special, I think that it's overall a very, very well done animation. Guys, thank you all so much for coming today and watching my review of Zootopia. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, a comment, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm sorry I haven't been posting as much. I'm in the middle of a big summer camp, but I'll do everything I can to get reviews to you. I do have a couple reviews scheduled, so be ready for that. Overall, Zootopia is a well-done animated movie. While it does not take the animation level to new heights, it's definitely a passable, entertaining movie with a good message at heart. I'm going to give Zootopia a B+.